All right, America, we're back for a tricky Trig ID problem. Here we go. Okay, so since there's more going on in number 9, we're doing number 9, on the left than the right, so I'm going to start working on the left side. And I'm just going to start with rewriting tangent as sine over cosine. And we're using theta. And cotangent is cosine over sine. There's your numerator. Denominator is 1 over cosine times 1 over sine. Equal sign goes on the right. So now I look at what I have and I see that when I add, well, I need to add these two fractions together. They currently have different denominators, so I'm going to have to make the denominators the same. In doing so, the denominator is going to have to become sine cosine. These are two fractions that are being multiplied. So the denominator, when I multiply them, is already going to be sine cosine. So I'm going to need to multiply through the numerator and the denominator by sine cosine, so that the denominators in both of these will end up canceling. Should I repeat that or should I just do it? Do it. Let's go. Sometimes I think, like, I don't know, you can't do that. Like, I don't know, from the games, sometimes I just say that. Okay. Here we go. Now what happens when I multiply this fraction by sine cosine? This is going to become a sine squared. The cosines are going to cancel. When I multiply this fraction by sine cosine, I'm going to get a cosine squared, and the sines will cancel. So the numerator is just going to become sine squared plus cosine squared, which is super nice because that's 1. In the denominator, sine cosine will be in the numerator. The cosines will cancel. Sine cosine will be in the numerator. The signs will cancel. So we won't have any more fractions.
Can you write that?
Yes, right now. I'm going to write in a different color because that's what Gracie likes.
If I don't understand it, at least it won't be.
It's pretty pretty. It's a little messy, but it's just because I'm writing with this pen on the screen.
Maybe America will get you a different meeting.
Well, my board is coming in spring 2022. There's our numerator. So that is the parentheses, that's like one term. So when you multiply across, this becomes sine theta cosine theta over cosine theta sine theta. That's right. So here's what happens. When you have two fractions that are being added and you're multiplying through by something, you have to multiply each of the terms by that number. So you're just basically distributing it. However, the denominator is already one term because these two fractions are being multiplied. So this is really, I could write this as 1 over sine cosine. So it's really one fraction because it's being multiplied. because of that, when we multiply by sine cosine, it's just in the numerator. So now, that's a 1, and that's a 1. Tracy, I can tell by your face something is not right.
What?
You're thinking something. I can tell by your eyes.
I am.
Speak up.
I'm lost.
Okay, where did I lose you?
Like all of it?
When we erase them in the card, it just
Yeah.
Okay, let's go through. How about this? Let's do this with just numbers, okay? If you had a number like 3, and you were multiplying that 3 by 1/2 plus 1/3, right? This is what's happening in the numerator. This would become 3/2 plus 3/3, right? If you were multiplying 3 by 2 fractions like 1/2 times 1/3, that's the same thing as 3 over times 1/6. So that would just be 3 over 6. So that's the difference between the numerator and the denominator. These two fractions are being added. So this has got to go in the numerator for this fraction. It's also got to go in the numerator for this fraction. These are being multiplied. Just like these, they're being multiplied. This is just one number. So this is like 1/6. Or this is like the same thing as 1 over sine cosine. So the sine cosine just goes in the numerator once. Better? Your eyes look a little bit better, but not 100%. I can read faces so well. Like 23 years, I'm like, it's easier without masks, but. All right, are we done? All right, we have to edit this video. Who's editing my video for me?